Shuttlepod Down by Spark Brony. Read by the great and powerful Boo. Chapter 1. Whoa, Tom Paris says softly from the pilot's chair. What is it? The crewman in the co-pilot's seat huffs, tapping his own control panel. We don't need any more bad luck on this flight. Tom shakes his head. Cool your jets, Silas. It's just a little turbulence. In response, the shuttlecraft receives a decidedly harder jolt, causing sparks to explode from the rear control panel. Tom narrows his focus onto his own controls. Some kind of energy field. It's knocked out our main power, he calls out, trying to correct the unintended pitch from whatever had hit the shuttle. I think we are going to have to glide in, he shouts as some of his controls blink out, and others turn deep red. Tom sighs. Yep, we're going down. He turns to crewman Silas. Get off a subspace message to Voyager. Let them know we're going down. The entire shuttle starts to rattle and shake as it enters the lower atmosphere. Sure, I sent the message. I think. But the subspace antennae seems to have suffered a power surge. I can't tell for certain whether or not the message was sent. Tom sighs. Isn't that just great? He watches his control panel. Looks like we're going down to bare minimum thrusters. He flinches as another panel just behind him explodes. Hold on! It's going to be a nearly dead stick landing. Twilight Sparkle giggles as she watches her friends. She watches as the Earth Pony, Applejack, pulls out a hoof ball with her teeth. She tosses the ball in the air and flips around, delivering a devastating buck with both hind legs to the ball. In response, the ball streaks away. I've got it! Shouts Rainbow Dash as she leaps into the air, her wings unfurling, and streaks off after the ball, her faithful tortoise Tank following her. Twilight turns back and nuzzles her own owl. Another lazy day, all of them playing with their animal friends. Fluttershy, would you be a dear? Rarity calls out to the yellow Pegasus. Opal, Rarity's cat, is hissing, with all of her claws entangled in the indigo blue mane of the white unicorn. Fluttershy nuzzles the cat. Poor Opal, she says, and in moments the cat is on Fluttershy's back, purring contentedly. I just don't know how you have such a knack for her, Fluttershy. Sometimes she's perfectly loving, and other times, Rarity says, looking at the cat, who opens one eye and flicks an ear at her, getting an indignant huff from Rarity. Pinkie Pie bounces up to Twilight, pointing up. Twilight, twitch! Something's about to fall! Twilight looks up in the direction that Pinkie is pointing. Her wings flare out in surprise. What is that? An oblong shape is streaking through the air, smoke streaming in a long trail as it hurls towards the ground. Twilight gasps as it continues north, getting lower and lower. Applejack gapes as Rainbow Dash drops the hoofball next to her. She turns and watches the machine, though how something like that could fly without wings is beyond her. Twilight takes to the air herself. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, you keep up with me. The rest of you, it's going down in Chalk Hills. Let's go! Tom gets up from his chair. A quick glance at the windscreen says that the front half of the ship is buried. He walks over to the crewman. Silas, you okay? The Bullion crewman levers himself out of his own seat. Yeah, I think so. Tom clasps the other's hand and steadies him on his feet. Well, you need to get started on repairs. This is a Class M planet, and sensors detected some sort of civilization, even though they couldn't determine technology level due to interference. He moves to the side bench and flips up the seat, exposing the expedition packs. He fits a tricorder to his hip and looks at the phasers. The small Type 1 is easily concealable. If there are any natives, he would appear less threatening with it. He brings it out and pockets it. He stands up and pushes the button, and the large rear hatch hisses as the pressure equalizes. It slowly lowers open, giving him a view of the world he so unceremoniously landed on. Bright, he mutters, looking around. The sun is indeed bright in the vivid blue sky. The grass below is bright green. The clouds floating in the air are white and fluffy. Tom finds himself smiling. It's beautiful. His thoughts, however, are disrupted by a loud thunk on top of the craft. What is this thing? Comes a gravelly yet feminine voice. Tom turns around and looks at the top of the shuttlecraft and stops for a moment. A sky blue quadruped is standing on top of the shuttle, poking at the metal hull with a hoof. obviously equine in shape, yet she's got a pair of wings extended from behind her shoulders. To top everything off, she's got a shocking rainbow-colored mane and tail. He decides to try talking. "Hi, sorry about that hard landing." The creature turns and looks at him, and he can see her enormous Ceres eyes. She moves over to the edge of the roof of the shuttle, her hooves ringing on the duranium of the hull. She sits on her haunches at the edge of the shuttle, peering down at him. "Her name is Rainbow Dash," comes a soft voice from behind him. Tom whirls around to see another equine. This one a lavender color, with a deep blue mane streaked with a gumball pink and purple stripe. The color scheme is copied on her tail as well. She opens her mouth. "I'm Twilight Sparkle. This is Fluttershy." She cocks her ear at the yellow pony, who seems to be hiding behind her bright pink mane. Tom crouches down to be closer to eye level with the small ponies. "I'm Tom Paris, from the Federation starship Voyager." The creature seems to be testing out the words. The confused look on her face gets a grin from Tom. He turns back to the blue pony. "That is a Shuttlepod. That was launched by the starship Voyager. We were in the area and noticed the energy levels from your world. We got close and something knocked out our power systems." He sighs. "And on top of it, our communications seem to be damaged as well, so we're stuck here." "We?" comes from the purple pony. "Sir," the crewman says as he emerges from the shuttlecraft holding a pad. "I think we can get the power systems operable." He trails off as he looks at Twilight, who has stepped back, wings spreading wide in fright. "What is that thing?" the crewman shouts, only to flinch from the dark look that Tom directs at him. "Crewman Silas, meet some of the locals." He grabs the crewman's arm. "This right here is Twilight Sparkle, and the pony above you is Rainbow Dash, and that one is Fluttershy." Silas shakes off Tom and straightens his uniform. He takes several deep breaths and steps towards Twilight. "I'm Crewman Silas," he says, extending a hand. The winged pony offers a hoof, and he shakes it. They are interrupted by a thunder of approaching hooves. Silas turns to Tom, who gestures for him to get to work as he finally fully steps onto the soil of this world. More of these ponies rush towards them. They slide to a stop as Tom looks at Twilight. Rainbow Dash leaps off the shuttle and flies over to land with the other ponies. "These are our friends, Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and Applejack." She turns to her friends. "Friends, this is Tom Paris, and he's, She falters for a moment, looking back at Tom. "Human," he supplies. She turns back. "He's a human. He seems nice." The ponies all come forward to greet him, and after a few moments he stands up and looks back at the shuttle. Twilight gets the hint. "Okay, girls, give him some space." She turns and looks at him. "Mr. Paris, I'd like to invite you to my home, and we can talk about how we might be able to help you." "Help me? You just met me." She giggles as she turns to walk. "Some pony is in need. We are happy to help." He glances forward. "Is it a long walk?" She extends a wing and whaps his leg gently. "Why? Going to get tired only walking on 2 legs?" He smiles. "No, was just wondering." She looks forward. "No, Ponyville should take about a half hour to walk. We flew here when we saw your..." She glances back, her ears flicking back and forth. "Shuttlecraft." She smiles. "Shuttlecraft." Her ears flick as she tastes the unfamiliar word. "Going down." They walk in silence for a while. "You use electromagnetic energy to power that?" He shrugs. "We use an electroplasma system, though it's similar to what you are thinking of." "Electroplasma? What's that?" Twilight blinked. "I've done some experiments with electromagnets." It's sort of like the stuff that makes up the sun, highly charged and flowing through." Paris starts before seeing the expression on her face. "What? Sun material? Well, that's your problem. Princess Celestia has the power to control the sun. You likely threw her lines of control and grabbed into the electroplasma that would have messed up all sorts of things with this flowing through your ship." "Ah," he says dubiously. She looks at him and smiles brightly. "Don't worry. I think I can do a spell to shield your systems when your repairs are complete." He looks at her and she walks easily next to him. "Thank you, Twilight Sparkle. I really do appreciate your help." She cocks her head to the side. "What are friends for?" He furrows his brow. "We're friends already?" She giggles in response. "Not yet, but we can become friends. I believe in preemptive friendship." He looks at the town slowly coming into view. I kind of like that approach. Her smile brightens even more. Me too, she chirps happily. Her ears prick forward as they continue walking. She whispers fiercely, "Something's wrong." She makes her voice louder. "Over here, Spike!" A small green lizard-looking creature rushes up to Twilight, impacting her hard with a hug. She nuzzles him lovingly. "This is Spike," she says over his heavy breathing. "He's a baby dragon." She wraps her forehooves around him. "Okay, Spike, breathe deeply. Tell me what's going on." The dragon pants for several moments, and he looks up at Twilight. "Diamond! Tiara!" Twilight frowns as he continues to catch his breath. "What about her?" "She started a rumor that the Cutie Mark Crusaders are all..." Doubles over in a fit of coughing. One of the other ponies, Rarity, comes up. "What about the Cutie Mark Crusaders?" Spike looks up at Rarity. "She says they are all changelings!" Everyone gasps, except for Twilight. She reaches out a wing to help steady the dragon. "Oh, come on, Spike. No pony will believe that. That's silly." Spike shakes his head forcefully. "Apparently, she's been working on her dad for weeks on this. He firmly believes it, and he's been rounding up the ponies in town to find them. The thing is, they've all disappeared." Rainbow Dash stalks forward. "So, Spike, you're saying Scootaloo, Apple Bloom, and Sweetie Belle are nowhere to be found?" He nods. "I was just over at the clubhouse. A couple of the windows have been broken." He turns to Twilight. "I'm scared for them." Twilight growls softly. "There's no time to lose. We need to find the fillies and make sure they are okay. I don't believe what Diamond Tiara says for 1 minute." She turns to Tom. "I'm sorry, Tom, but this is an emergency, and you can either go back to your ship or you can go ahead to the big castle in town. We need to help the girls." Tom leans down with a soft smile on his face. "I think you'll do," he says softly. He reaches out a hand and cups her cheek. "You will all work perfectly. Naomi will love you." Twilight furrows her brow as Tom stands up and calls out loudly, "Computer, save all parameters to the file, Shuttlepod down, and close out the program." The trees and beautiful sky all disappear, along with the ponies, one by one until Twilight remains. She looks shocked as Spike disappears from next to her, and then she fades away at last, revealing the grid pattern of Voyager's holodeck. Tom whistles merrily as he walks to the hatch for the holodeck, and it opens before him.